May I have your position?
Yes, I'm the chief clinical officer.
Okay, well, I've just been trying to get services years, and a lot of staff have sabotaged them. It was one by the name of Susan said that I was videotaping our meeting, and I wasn't. So I think the situation was compromised because she should not have known that I have a channel that I upload videos on. But anyway, I'd like to get services because I'm in a domestic violence crisis and I've had multiple false arrests. And my abuser has been controlled environments out of malice and kept them from helping me to flee the abuse.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
I do have that you are in our computer system and that you have already completed services with us. So I'm
What
not sure
services?
if you're aware we are
What services have I completed?
Sorry?
What services have I completed?
Let me look here.
Okay.
Let's see. So you've got some crisis interventions.
That's weird because there's blatant lies in a lot of systems. What crisis intervention did I get? She had me leave. Why would she lie?
Well, this was back in 2020. Let me see.
Yes, I didn't get crisis intervention. I was told to leave. Well, 2020, they kept being full for years and didn't do safety plans or anything. And I finally came in 2022 and she told me I was recording and forced me to leave without any services. That's a blatant lie in your system. And there's a lot of systems that have blatant lies in them. Some systems have banned me and I haven't even been at the locations.
I do hear what you're saying, ma'am. I'm trying to read through the file so that I can give you the correct information. I do see that you called the shelter a few times. I do see that you had some phone calls. I'm just trying to look really fast. I see that there was a CPS report.
CPS report?
Yes, ma'am.
It has in the system that you guys did a CPS report?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking in this. I'm seeing safety planning and an advocacy phone call where they were able to go through a list of needs with you to be able to provide you the information that you were needed.
No, they played games.
Have a crisis call.
Okay. Well, they have blatant lies in your system. So how can I get services today? Because I'm still going through the same thing. Did they give me shelter? Did we do a protection order? Did they educate me on restraining orders?
So Genesis does not do protective orders or restraining orders, and our shelter is full. So we are not able to do those services.
Yeah, I think something's amiss because our places have been full years. I think my abuser's controlling my experience. So what can you do now if I've had multiple false arrests and my abuser is able to control my environments? How can you help?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
Is that okay if I explain this to you?
Sure.
Okay. So we are not able to, Genesis doesn't do protective orders. That's something that you can do at the courthouse. So that's why we can't do that. As far as our shelter goes, our shelter is
How can you help me combat? You've already said that it was full. I've had to endure this years. So what can you do if there's multiple? Are you advocating for me?
Well,
do you advocate for
This is why I'm trying to explain.
You're trying to explain? But my question was, how do you help? You said the shelters were full and you were giving me information that wouldn't help because you don't have shelter.
So if you can stop talking for a minute so that I can answer your questions, I would love to be able to help you.
Go ahead, ma'am. I don't have rights.
So what I was saying is that our shelter is always full, unfortunately. So what we always let people know is that they can call every day to be able
I'm not being heard, ma'am. You're wanting to tell me something that I didn't ask the question for. I know the shelter's full. If someone has 20 false arrests and getting violated by the police department, can you help them at all? What can you do since the shelter's full? We know what you can't do because it's been full years. So what can you do as a domestic violence organization?
This is what I'm trying to tell you. One of the things that we can do is encourage you to call every day, because eventually someone
That's
will, a
crooked
client leave.
con artist. It's meant to be psychologically abusive. I was talking to someone, ma'am. Okay, I'm not getting a resolution on what I can do to protect myself from corrupt police. When this first began, someone said that it was a possibility you can get a restraining order on the police department if they're bullying and committing crimes. But then they stopped talking to me and was covering for the corrupt police.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm not finished with my answer. Can you let me?
I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear about the shelters, ma'am, because you've been full for years, ever since I've been in my crisis. So can we talk about how you can, what I can do to protect myself from the police department and not distract and talk about something that I didn't ask a question for?
Yes, ma'am. You can go to the courthouse and file.
I would like to know what Genesis can. What's your name?
Genesis cannot do anything with you.
What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Ruth.
Okay. So Genesis can what?
Cannot do anything for you to protect you from the police. Only the court can do that.
I mean, how can you advocate?
I cannot advocate except for explain to you the process. That's how I can advocate.
Okay, so if my abuser, let's say the abuser is a police officer, what can you do? Are you denying me services?
Ma'am, what I'm telling you, this is
Are you denying services?
When you call on the phone, I am not denying you the phone call because I'm on the phone with you. So I am doing a crisis phone call with you right now to be able to help you do safety planning, because you are telling me that if your abuser is a police officer, what can you do? So I'm trying to give you ideas of what you can do. Genesis cannot stop. We cannot go to the police.
Ma'am, what can you do? For years, people keep telling me what they cannot do. What can you, not refer me to someone else? What can Genesis do?
Okay, the answer is nothing.
I guess till the feds intervene, I'm going to keep getting this. So the answer is nothing. No, you're denying me services, so you're not giving me any services with Genesis.
I am not denying a service. I am offering.
Don't you have legal?
Safety planning.
Don't you have legal?
We have legal, but it's only for divorce and child custody. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. Do you already have an attorney?
No.
Okay. So I can give your name and information to the legal. That's a different department, so I can't schedule that appointment. So I can give your information to the legal department so that they can call. They will look up your information to be able to call you and provide you the information on what they do. Like I said, they can only do divorce and child custody in Dallas County.
Okay. So, but as far as getting any education on how to combat my abuser, buying off the police departments and all domestic violence organizations, that can't be done. We have to let him get cover for him and make sure he has no accountability. So you giving me education on how to give my abuser accountability is impossible.
So unfortunately, domestic violence agencies can safety plan, but we cannot make any abusers stop. And
I'm not being heard, ma'am. I just wanted to know the channels. Ma'am, we're having a disconnect. I just wanted to know why all organizations I've called for years protect my abuser and don't want me to have education on how to protect myself against an abusive man that has taken my freedom and children, taken my freedom 20 times, children, hired people to threaten me, make me lose 2 living environments with all my furniture, multiple cars. So you're saying that your organization is unwilling to give me any feedback on how to protect myself against a domestic violence crisis? The only thing that you're willing to do? Okay, well, that's what I want the education on, because they haven't taught me years, and they have blatant lies in your system. And that's a pattern. They have blatant lies in a lot of systems.
Okay, ma'am. This is what I'm trying to do. We do safety planning. So
my ma'am, we're just deflecting, ma'am, because I get so many questions answered that I didn't ask. My question was, if there's an abuser that has hired the police department to bully someone and have intercepted me getting help, and all domestic violence organizations hack my phone, what are you capable of doing? Is there anything that you can do possibly, because all organizations protect my abuser? What can you do?
I I am answering you. I can do a safety plan with you. I cannot tell the police to stop. I cannot tell the abuser to stop. I can only give you ideas on how to do safety planning. So if you would like that, I'm happy to have a phone conversation with you right now to go through a safety plan.
Okay, so you don't do the police accompaniment. You don't.
No, we do not.
Okay, I think that you're being dishonest, ma'am. I think I don't know who I'm talking to. And conspiracy to violate rights is criminal. And for my abuser to intercept all help for years, all help, period, in domestic violence organizations, not one will help me, has to be criminal. So look at my YouTube channel, ma'am, Kiana Clark Peace. I did record this call, and I'm trying to get something done with all these conspirators and conspiracy to violate rights. That's a felony charge. And for all these domestic violence organizations to let crooked police and my abuser control them is criminal. No one will help me, and they all lie. And one of them even watched police assault me. One of them even watched police assault me and arrest me and take my freedom for trying to sit at a domestic violence support group. I told them that when I got there at New Beginnings that the police were my abusers. My abuser had police under, in his pocket. And they sat there and looked at me get assaulted and arrested. But if you're not willing to do...
Ma'am, excuse me, because you have told me that you're recording this, I now do have to hang up, and I will not be able to return any phone calls because you have told me you've put it on the internet. This is for
you weren't giving me services anyway. You have crimes in your system, ma'am. You're blaming me. You're gaslighting me for your misbehavior. And I've had to endure this years. It's just psychological abuse. Already controlled.